Listen, I want to talk about another thing here, though. Talking about outlandish stuff, we got Trump saying he's going to claim the Gaza Strip, right?
Mm.
And in my opinion, I think it's very, very out there and very motivated by others that he takes it and rebuilds it. And the worst thing that I think I've heard out of his mouth, not to talk bad about this guy, but is that he said there's nothing left there. So why would they want to go back? That's their home.
Yeah.
It's been their home.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let's try to look at this like both sides, like we usually do, right?
Yes.
We'll start with what he said. The main thing that he said. We'll pull that up first, and then we'll.
Oh no,
So why
I'm
would-
speaking on my own opinion, Miguel. I'm not speaking on what we got.
Before
No,
we get
no.
into the videos and everything, can we get everybody's stands on it? Like,
Yeah.
agree, disagree? Me personally,
Yeah.
disagree, bro. It's not your land, America.
They have no foot in the game.
They have no foot in the game. If you want to be big bro without taking, without taking it. You want to be big bro, that's fine. You can be big bro. You can go there. You can protect the land.
You can create the peace. You can create the peace. You can be the one that's propped up as that.
Yes.
But you can't be the one that now dictates what happens to people.
Yes.
Also, maybe we have it coming up, but another thing that I didn't like is like, okay, now we're gonna figure out where these people are going instantly. Like you can legally, like the world might not just get up and like the George Floyd and BLM movement and say, no, this is too far.
The relationship between Trump and Netanyahu or whatever the fuck, bro. I've seen some clips where Donald Trump is pulling the chair for this guy and then tucking him in, and I'm just
I fuck heavily with Trump, but like, bro, like this whole I agree with you, Joseph. There's too much respect going on there,
right? Like the
like,
respect.
why are they kissing up? Like, why is he kissing up to him like that? Why? It's like these guys are like controlled, man.
And then you see clips of like Trump and then Putin meeting, and they're going like this, and then Trump like pulls him in. He pulls him in, bro. Like, you know how like they're coming in for a handshake. He grabs Putin and pulls him in like a power thing, like a power thing. But then with this guy, he shows him respect and like, oh sir, yeah, here, let me tuck you in. Like, what?
All right, Joe. Sit your ass down. Miguel, what's your opinion?
Sorry, but
what's your opinion? What's your opinion, Miguel?
No, that's a good point, man. I don't know if anybody like really agrees with what's going on. Although I do hear people saying how it's not his intent. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's not his intention to actually go through with this plan, but it's more of a negotiation tactic to start up some sort of discourse in order to find a solution in a problem that wasn't anywhere near. Yeah, like it wasn't anywhere near a solution, right? So now there's talks on the table of how to get everyone to cooperate, right? Not just Israel, not just Palestinians, but all the neighboring countries to kind of come up with something. But regardless of like if that's true or not, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for the U.S. to involve itself to send troops and stuff if that's what he really intended. Now, at the end of the day, we have our opinions. I really think, and I could be wrong, right? I really think that whatever he's doing, he sees a benefit for the American people. He sees a benefit for the American economy. And he's also at a stage right now where he's making... he's making enemies. You could say that, right? Like you could say that with all the tariff threats and how he's coming across, it's like, yo, he's telling everyone what to do kind of thing. So he kind of needs Israel. He kind of needs their backing if he's going to have any leg to stand on when he's telling these other countries. Because if he tells everybody to fuck off, then really like who has his back? Right, so I don't know. Like, if he really, that's what I'm trying to say. It's complicated. You don't know everything that's happening behind the scenes. We're flooded with propaganda.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away the fact that it does look sketchy when you see what like Joseph's saying. When you see Trump fucking pandering.
What I think we all agree on.
Right.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
You want to finish up? My bad.
No. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, so one thing I think we all agree on is Palestine should have probably never been taken. People should not have been kicked out of the place. I think I personally have those views. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, that was their land. People were living there, and now you crossed over in 19 whatever. They signed that document, Rothschild, this, that, and then they took over the place. Right? That was an
Yeah.
agreement after World War II, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah.
that was because the involvement of the U.S. to take out Germany, so that way they don't dominate Europe.
Yeah.
I forgot
Mhm.
the
The thing
so
where it
that's
gets
where it all
tricky.
started.
Sorry, continue.
It all became like a step by step over the years, more genocides, more this, more that, and it kind of crossed over the land, and now they're fully out. So
Yeah.
I like obviously this was some BS that started a long time ago, some biblical prophecies or whatever these guys are trying to attain, whatnot.
It's the holy
Now,
war.
yeah. So now, what I do kind of like, okay, so I stand on that.
Stop
Like,
slamming
I'm
the table.
against that whole situation. Now, what I do agree with Trump on regarding this situation, when he says that nobody wants to live there, I agree with that, bro, because these people are actually closed off. All they have is the sea, Egypt, if I'm not mistaken, and another country or Jordan or whatever. I'm not sure exactly, but they're blocked off. They're blockaded. Like, they can't get out. All they're getting is they're moving from one place to another because the previous place just got bombed, and they're all stuck and they're being cornered, and now they're about to get bombed there, like Rafah and all these places. So what I do agree on is that, personally, man, at this point it's one of those where it's like, yo, fuck the land, bro. Like, save the kids, bro. Save the people in that area.
It's an ethnic
And I think
cleansing.
that and I think he came into a situation where he got presented with the option, like what's going what's going on there, and how can
Yeah.
we first off make a deal for America, but at the same time stop the killing. Same situation as he's trying to do with Ukraine and Russia. His main goal is coming off with the deal, like Art of the Deal that he published, right? Coming off with the deal to kind of like, I'm not sure if he's able to make all sides happy, but at least stop the killing of the people. And I'm with them on that. Like, whatever needs to be done to stop getting children from being burned and people getting bombed on, I think that's the most important thing. The land part can be figured out. Like, is like, bro, it's land. Like, people are dying. Which one would you rather have? Lose the land or people die? They're both fucked, but which one's worse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right?
I want to
And
hear.
that's
I want to hear what Trump has to say. But after we watch this video, audience, I want to hear your comments down below, and take your takes on it. Joseph, bring the clip up, please.
Fuck. Can I say something? One more thing.
Here we go.
Miggy, you remember the video I sent to the group chat, the wave room, wave room clip that got taken down like a couple hours after I sent it? Like, two of you liked it, and it was how they said like how the Israel attack, that was like the first attack from Hamas, it was really an inside job from Israel.
Yes,
Yeah, we were talking about October 7th.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then so they were saying that if the initial attack that they said it was Hamas, the bombing and all that, one of the officials from Israel actually came out saying, no, it wasn't them, it was us that did it, so we can make the first move. And then a couple hours later, I went to go check the video because I was gonna send it to Julian, and it got taken down.
Yeah, bro, that's the same story with the 9/11. How they say there was an inside job there, so they can justify going to war with Iraq, and this is not even a conspiracy. I don't even think it's a conspiracy
No, it's
anymore.
not a
because
conspiracy no more, bro.
So many people came out saying it. That was an inside job, so then they can take over these countries, so that way they can destabilize the Middle East.
Yeah,
And that's like, yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Joe.
It's
Like, I can't say like for sure what it was, but like, if when you pull the blind back and you start following where the money's going, it like leads to that.
Bro, there has to be something in Gaza for this whole thing to be happening. Like, it can't just be like, sure, it might be blocked off, but maybe they're sitting on a landmine.
Oh, bro,
I mean, not a landmine, a gold mine, you know?
It's the ocean. I got a bunch of oil there, from what I'm hearing, and all the deals are gonna come from there. There's just money. It's just the same thing as Ukraine. Why does BlackRock and all these countries want Ukraine? Because they're sitting on gold, bro.
They're sitting on gold, bro. They're sitting on gold. They got the most minerals in all of Europe.
And this is news today, actually. So I don't know if we're gonna cover this in the next episode because it's so new. But like, now Trump is trying to negotiate with Ukraine in order for them to keep getting provided stuff, U.S. to get minerals and
I
all
saw
these
that.
all these things in exchange. So it's not a free run anymore.
Yeah. Now,
Well, I mean,
Joseph.
at least now they're getting something. Fuck.
Yeah.
But I
Now,
thought,
hold
but I
on.
thought the whole thing was to stop the war. I'm not like, bro. My whole thing is like stop the killing of kids and people, man. Like these people are the pawns, and we're killing them for what? Like if at the end of the day, the way I see it is, if I'm about to get bombed, bro, I would want people to stand up for me. Like my life, I think is valuable. So it's like how can we stop these people from getting killed? That's my biggest thing.
It's one of
Yeah.
the main questions. Now, I mean, we already pretty much know what Trump says. I think most people have seen it. I think it's better if we just move on to the next clip, which pretty much gives the counter argument. I mean, we touched on a couple things, but this guy pretty much explains it well. And then after that, we got a pros and cons video that just looks at it objectively, right? Without emotions attached.
Getting here, wanting people to get their heads together and work out what could work. Well, what's your sense?
I agree with that. And your opening statement for this segment too, that he's playing hardball, and I suppose is trying to get Qatar, Saudi, Egypt, Jordan to take responsibility, probably for the occupation and rebuilding, and then also, of course, as we're talking about here, the cleansing and the so-called resettlement of these people. So I think any mention of, oh yeah, no, we're going to make a nice place for the Palestinians to live, they don't mean that. When they say, oh yeah, people of the area are going to take over Gaza now, they mean Israeli Jews are going to replace the people there. And the thing is, America can't do that. I mean, the Pentagon, I don't know if he talked to the generals before he said that or anything, or exactly what he has in mind, if he really thinks he's going to do that. But that would mean American GIs and Marines in the place of the IDF. And as we just saw, getting shot, killing people, getting killed, and achieving nothing for it. And they wouldn't be able to cleanse the place anyway. So it's not like they're just going to walk in there and shoo everyone out and they're going to listen to us instead of the Israelis now. So I agree that it's an opening position for at least I certainly hope he's just trying to get someone else to take responsibility for it. But I'm for a total non-intervention on this. America needs to cut all ties with all sides and just stay out of it. I have my opinions about how things should be. You talk about doing the same thing over and over. How about an independent Palestinian state? Or how about separation of church and state and a secular state with citizenship for everybody between the river and the sea and equal rights for everybody? Those are my opinions, but I do not think that is the role of the United States government to dictate that. But we need to cut off all aid and certainly all weapons to Israel, all diplomatic support for them and their war crimes. After all, for conservatives who believe in the rule of law, the Fourth Geneva Convention, Article 46, is the law. There are federal laws. That treaty was written mostly by Americans in the first place, ratified by the U.S. Senate, and there are federal laws implementing the Geneva Conventions in the United States. And it is illegal to replace a civilian population to help another country to do so either, certainly in the name of Lebanon's realm. And Trump literally said, well, geez, Israel's such a small country, in answer to whether he supports the annexation of the West Bank. And that's where part of this conversation needs to go to. As soon as they had a ceasefire in Gaza, they moved to the West Bank, and they made it very clear they would like to annex the West Bank. And if we see in the West Bank the kind of slaughter we just saw in Gaza for the last year and a half, it's within the realm of possibility, you could see them bombing those cities and trying to force the Palestinians to flee into Jordan and to go ahead and finish the job. Now, the only restraint on that apparently is not America. The only restraint on that is, will it destroy Israel's relations with all the Sunni kingdoms of the GCC and Egypt and Jordan? Because if it does, then there goes their new alliance that they're building against Shiite Iran. And so that's really the
stop it there.
Wow.
Honestly,
so he brings up.
he was very well spoken.
Yeah,
Yes,
he brings
very
up some good
articulate.
points. Yeah, pretty much what we're thinking right now. Before we add anything, I think we should look at this last clip, which is pretty much gives the pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if you guys want to add anything, we'll go after that, so we can move on to the next topic.
Yes.
As well. Let's start with the cons. Yeah, okay. So the very first con, it's Gaza, obviously. I think.
That's a difficult one. You
That's a
can't
difficult
overcome
one.
that one. Location,
Yeah.
location, location. It matters.
Second con, it's going to anger probably most of the Middle East and could lead us into a global conflict.
It's never going to be a really safe place.
That's a con. I think a third con that would require a bunch of U.S. troops, resources. That's not necessarily a good one.
Yeah.
You suck.
No,
This is
I
a
don't
con.
like deploying U.S. troops to a place like that. And that's really, I don't think there's any other way to make that happen.
Right. And I would say probably the final con is U.S. occupation. It's never actually worked in the Middle East. That's a con.
It's been tried.
Yes.
You suck.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not the best idea.
Let's go through the possible pros, though. And that was my first thing was like, all con. Con? And then I thought, well, there could be some pros. I mean, what do you like? The first pro is it could be argued provide a legitimate foothold for the United States in that region, which is kind of important.
It's nice to be closer to home whenever things go down, and they tend to happen.
Yes, they do.
Regularly.
That's a pro.
Yes.
Another pro, it would also be next to kind of our only ally in that.
And we wouldn't fire rockets at them.
We wouldn't.
Which would be
that's a pro for Israel.
Huge pro for Israel. They would love that.
I think Israel might be more into this than most Americans, to be clear.
That's true.
And it's not talking about the Jews running the media. I'm just saying, look, we have to make this decision based on what's right for the United States, not necessarily for Israel. I think a pro, you could argue, provide more stability for the immediate area, don't you think?
I think that's absolutely true.
Okay. Anything else?
I haven't gotten it right at all.
Yeah. Anything else?
Bro, am I the only one that doesn't agree with any of this shit?
No,
Yeah.
no.
The economy of Gaza, like
Potentially a better economy.
Look at
There's
the
a
last
little bit,
decade
but
Yeah.
they gotta
of
also
what
they
we've
gotta
been
put
doing
something
here.
up there,
It's
right?
not working.
Yeah, less bombs and tunnels, more like sandals resorts.
Or schools.
Yes.
Or playgrounds.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Or Club Meds.
Playgrounds that are not used to fire mortars.
Yes,
from.
exactly.
I just need to clarify. Or schools.
And, the pro, I mean, the Jews don't seem to hate the idea. So for them, that's a pro. The Jews like. You can write that down as a pro. Jews like. Happy Jews. Happy Jews, happy shoes.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty funny.
All right, what don't you like, Adrian?
I don't know, man. Like
What don't
the
you
the Gaza Strip. Why is that? Like, why would that be a con?
So
No,
they're
yeah,
saying
but
pros and
It's a
cons.
location, Gaza. Kind of like what you were saying. It's a locked up piece of land.
Yeah, it's full of landmines. It's not a pretty place, basically. So they're saying pros and cons for America to
the
even
American
take
troops.
over.
Why is if the American troops were to go in?
No, he's talking
Yeah,
about
like
making
pros-
it and
yeah,
making
what
it-
Trump
making
said.
making it a U.S. like, you know how they took over Hawaii?
Yeah, like what Trump said, basically.
You would
is gonna
have now.
happen.
You would have a U.S. like based land.
If I was
Yeah.
to be real about it, bro, I would rather the U.S. have a piece of that land than only Israel. But like at the same time, now I'm going against what I was previously saying. So I'm also like just strictly against that because, like, that was their land. But at the same time, how are we gonna keep the people safe? See, that's what I'm saying. It's such a complicated thing to talk about because it's like, what the hell is the solution then?
Solution is for the fucking Jews to get the fuck out of there. It's not their land. That's what the solution is. It's not their land, bro. Like they were gracious enough to receive a little piece of land after their fucking land got taken out in the World War II. And then they took over that little piece of it. Now they want the whole thing. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, actually, no, they never had a piece of land, right? So there were people that were like, fuck, they were actually like close to gypsies, bro. They're all over the place.
That's what I'm saying. There were gypsies after the war. They didn't have anywhere to go.
It's just they were scattered, right? Because the history of them is like apparently from what I've read and heard about is like they've been kicked out of 100 different nations that ever had them in place before.
Yes.
That's what that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I'm hearing. So they never had a piece of land, but after World War II, they got that piece of land, and now it goes back to what you're saying. They had a little piece of thing, and now they made it.
But whose land was it before they took it?
Yeah, Palestine.
And then like I don't understand where all these arguments are coming from. Like, oh, it should be no, bro. Palestine was gracious enough to allow them to take this little
And this
piece
is
of
the
land.
thing too. We might also be a little bit wrong on this topic too. Yes, it was Palestine's land, but like Palestine wasn't that old either. I'm pretty sure there was a different like culture there as well, like not long ago.
Yeah, you could do this with any region,
with any country. Right.
What we
And-
gotta do is we gotta get a
one
little
more
bit
thing I
more
wanna
informed
say.
in this, for sure.
And one thing I do want to touch up on is like at any point I'm hearing anything about the Geneva Convention being crossed, to me that's a red flag. Because me and you, Miggy, we know for a fact what the like any of that means during the 2020 situation.
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff got crossed off, and me and you didn't. Well, majority of us didn't like it, and we thought that was extreme. So at any point we're hearing anything about Geneva Convention, which was placed in after World War II, right? Was put down. Why are we going backwards? Why are we making exceptions?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure if Russia was to do some against Geneva Convention type shit, or any of these other smaller countries, they'll get rained on. But rules for thee, not for me, right?